Hey guys, in this video, my goal is to share my heart with you about this toolbox, Hope at the Gates, and also just to walk through some practical things of what this looks like. Our whole goal here is to give vision and strategy for the local church, as well as to equip the local church with tangible tools to do this outreach. We believe in the power of the local church. We know that on a single Sunday in America, there is a higher attendance in the church here in America on one Sunday morning than there is in every professional sporting event over the course of a year. The church is the greatest organism on the face of the planet. And again, we stand on God's word that the gates of hell will not prevail against the local church. So again, we want to give the vision, the strategy, and the tools for the local church to do this very critical outreach here in our cities. You know, we do love parachurch organizations. We're thankful for them, but that's not what Hope at the Gates is. This is not another parachurch organization. Again, this is all to be done through the local church. You know, when you look at a city, or let's take the state of North Carolina as an example, the state of North Carolina, we have over 10 abortion clinics across the state. And that can seem overwhelming when you're trying to have a Christian witness in front of every one of those abortion clinics every day that they're open. But when you look at a greater number, when you look at right here that there's 7,000 churches in the state of North Carolina, that 10 abortion clinic number all of a sudden seems pretty small. And again, this is our heartbeat, is to provide the local church with the vision, the strategy, and the tools to be a Christian witness in front of these abortion clinics that are in our city. The reason why we landed with the name Hope at the Gates, it comes out of Nehemiah. You know, a lot that the Lord has birthed in us has come out of the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 3 begins as they start to describe all the different people that are involved with the rebuilding of the wall in Jerusalem. Nehemiah chapter 3 verse 1 begins with Eliashib the high priest and his fellow priest went to work and rebuilt the gates. Why the gates? Why do they start at the gates? Gates are strategic places in the wall, and they're strategic places in our city. And we believe that these gates, these strategic places, are these abortion centers. You know, we don't know anywhere else in the city where people are going to be dying today other than the abortion centers in our city. And I love it that the pastors here, the spiritual leaders, led the way in the rebuilding of the gates. And so we're seeking strategic church partnerships that will man these positions, that will take this on as their local mission field, and use this to activate people in their church through their small groups, and look at this really as the local mission field, and you know, your church doing local outreach in that mission field. So the name Hope at the Gates comes from that. Nehemiah chapter 3, Eliashib the high priest, along with other priests, began rebuilding the gates. Again, this is not a parachurch organization. This is a toolbox for the local church to accomplish the mission. Our hope is that there will be a Christian witness in front of every abortion clinic, not just here in North Carolina, but across the nation and eventually across the world. That there will be a Christian witness at those places. So as moms and dads are coming in that are feeling hopeless, they will be given an out. They will be given another option. They will be given hope at the gates. And so this is our goal. This is our vision for this. And again, we're seeking strategic church partners to take this on as your local outreach. And the ask is really simple. We're asking you to identify a handful of people in your local church that will commit to being out there either weekly, every other week, or monthly. You guys pick what you feel like you can take on. We're asking you to be there in the morning times around 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is when the majority of people are coming in to have an abortion. And again, we want to make sure that there's a Christian witness there to give them another route, another opportunity. So from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly is the ask. A handful of people in your church. We need at least 4+ people there to be on the sidewalks that day. You might take every other Monday. Well, that's great. You have filled a place in the wall for us that has been missing. And then we will have other churches that will take Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and so on. But again, I really want to encourage you to look at this as local outreach in the mission field here today. We don't know where children are going to be dying in the next school shooting, but we do know where they're scheduled to die at these strategic gates in our city. So we've done everything that we can to really package this together for you, to make this work doable for the local church. And we've done it through what we call a toolbox. And there's really 3 key positions when you're out there at the abortion center doing sidewalk counseling. You're going to have people that are holding signs. And signs, a lot of times can be viewed as a protest or a negative thing, but these are life-affirming signs. These are saying, hey, there are real options for you. You can see the messaging. I chose life, so can you. That's empowering language. Hope is here. These are pictures of moms and babies that made the choice for life at abortion clinics. These are the real pictures of those families that now the church is walking with. Something just really simple like stop for resources. There are real resources that exist in this city. There's a life network, and that is in your toolbox. I'll get into that in a second. This sign is really to be used as moms are coming out for the abortion, after they've already had the abortion. All these other signs are to be used as families are showing up for the abortion, and let them know there is another way. But for those that have gone through with the abortion, many of them are taking the abortion pill. And there still is hope for those families. There's something called the abortion pill reversal. Actually, a local doctor here in Charlotte helped develop that, and they're seeing a very high success rate with that. So this would be the sign to be used as people are coming out after having an abortion. Regret taking the abortion pill reversal. There's no cost to it. That's the website. I know signs like this that have saved many lives because they pulled out of there, they had immediate regret, and they saw that there was still hope for their baby. So the sign ministry, that's something that one or two of your people can be doing while they're out there at the abortion clinic. Another strategic position out there is someone that's going to be handing out literature. And this literature we have put together for you. All the branding and the messaging are together. Hope is here. This is just letting her know that her child is a blessing, and just talking about that. Again, a picture of a mom and a baby saying that they cared and gave me help and real options. And that's what we want to do for these families. We're not there just to tell them not to have the abortion. We really want to walk with them. This is the truth about abortion, what the procedures are like. This is all important information for these moms to see, to know the trauma that they're going to have to deal with if they do go through with the abortion. What's going to happen to the baby? This is explaining the child development, the baby development. At 5 to 8 weeks, there's a beating heart. That's happening from 17 to 21 days. Between 9 and 12 weeks, there are unique fingerprints. And so we want the mom to connect with the child, or the dad to connect with his child in the womb. Then also here we talk about the real resources that exist, the tangible help that is available to them. And here we give them the gospel. This is where, yes, of course, we want to see families make the choice for life, but we want to see hearts that are turning to the Father. So all that information is in here. Also, resources here on the back. These are national resources. We have a local resource book in this toolbox, but these are all national resources. We encourage sidewalk counselors to put your name and your phone number as you're handing this information out. as moms or dads are pulling in for abortion, you're letting them know that you care. You're not just here to hand out some information and hope they get their life together. You say, hey, we want to connect you with mentors. We want to connect you with real resources here in the church. I'm telling you, so handing out literature and the signs are critical positions to be manned out there. The third one is the people that are calling out to the families. And it's the way we describe it is it's not preaching, it's pleading. You're pleading with the mom and dad just to say simply, Mama, we love you. God loves you. He loves your child. Come and hear about the resources that exist in our city. And so you need someone that's going to be a voice for those who don't have a voice. Someone that's going to hand out the literature, and someone that's going to hold a sign. Now, if you only have one person out there to hold the sign, that's okay. You pick which sign works best for you. If you have multiple people, then you have multiple signs to be able to use as well. In your toolbox, right here, your toolbox, you're going to get a few different things. Number one, you're going to get a playbook. And the playbook is really best practices of sidewalk counseling. We worked on this with some of our partnering ministries that do sidewalk counseling. All their years of experience have been put in here. And so these are just some do's and don'ts, best practices. What does offering literature look like? What does the person that's calling out and pleading look like? The sign holding, what's the best way to approach that? How do you deal with the police? How do you deal with opposition, those that maybe are against us out there? What is the best positioning? Where should my sign holders be? We have a map in here that shows you that. Where should your people that are handing out the literature be, and so on. Again, the best things that to do and the things not to do. Also, just understanding your rights. So we put some of that in here. Things that you need to know and how to deal with the police. And lastly, we have our code of conduct in here. And we ask all partnering churches that agree to use Hope at the Gates toolbox to operate under this code of conduct. And we ask you to have the people within your local church that are going to be a part of this ministry to also operate under that code of conduct. Basically just simply says we want to represent Jesus. We're not here to argue. We're not here to yell or scream. We're here to really give resources and reach out to these moms and dads, to plead with them to make the choice for life. So you have the playbook. You have the literature to be handed out to the moms and dads that are coming for abortions. And the playbook is for you and your teams that you'll be sending out from your local church. It's, again, the do's and the don'ts. The literature, you have your local resource book. This really dives deep into what are the resources that are available. If you're dealing with a situation and a mom is, saying, I need childcare or I need housing. This is a document, a 28-page document that shows you all the local resources that exist in the city. Along with this, we also are giving you the ability to tap into our mentor network, mentors within our partnering churches, because we not only want to point people to local resources, we want to be able to connect them relationally. And if that's something that you're not able to take on, or your church isn't able to take on as far as the mentoring element, the ongoing discipleship with that family, or maybe it just doesn't make sense geographically based on where that family lives and where your church is, we want to give you access to our mentor network where you can submit a form on the landing page to get that family connected to a mentor in one of our partnering churches. A couple of other items in this toolbox. We have this card, and this card is really to be served as a visual. Families that are showing up there for an abortion have a lot going on in their life, and a lot of times things are very cloudy, and so we want to just very simply be able to show them, here you are today, and right here, this is a mobile unit. At a lot of the abortion centers that we're going to be sending and commissioning churches to, it will also be done in partnership with local pregnancy care centers that have mobile units that will be able to offer free ultrasounds to moms and dads on those mobile units. So that's where this card starts out with, just showing here you are in the mobile unit. You've made the choice for life. We want to get you connected to a mentor in a local church that will also be a resource manager to connect you to all the resources that exist in the city. And part of the mentor program is we pay for a 3D ultrasound for the mom, for the mentor, and for the mentee to go together to see that child through a 3D ultrasound, and then a baby shower. And most of our mentors throw baby showers for their mentees and provide for up to the first 2 years of that child's life. And again, this little graph is just to show visually what do our next steps look like. And then it shows we want to get you connected into that local church to really be a part of the family of God, for people to surround you and come alongside you. We don't want you to walk through this alone. And lastly, what's in this toolbox is this resource called Tiny Hands. It's a Tiny Hands booklet, and it has some great images to be able to show to moms and dads, maybe as you're out there counseling, some incredible images just to show the baby's development. What does their baby look like, at 11 weeks, at 12 weeks, at 13 weeks? And this booklet has great pictures in here to be able to show that. So these are the things that will come in your toolbox. Again, you got your playbook for your team members to know what the best practices are. This is your training. There's also some online, more in-depth training that will be done. And in some cases, there will also be boots on the ground training where we will be out there with you. We will have some of our partnering ministries that will be out there with you for the first few times that you send teams out to really walk them through what we can do, what we can't do, and best practices. So your playbook, your resource book, your life book. This is what you're handing out to moms and dads as they're coming in, letting them know that we're here to help them and what that help looks like. The visual, just to give them a visual of the journey of hope that we want to take them on. And then the Tiny Hands book to really show the images of the children. If they don't end up going on the mobile unit, you can use that booklet to do just that. So in this toolbox, you get all these resources. You also get these signs as well as a shirt. We want to equip you and your teams with shirts so that the message is very clear. They know who is a part of that team out there. And really, we want to put our best foot forward. A lot of times what we can find at abortion centers is a little bit of the wild, wild west, where it's not packaged and put together, and there's maybe not a real game plan even on how to reach these families. We worked again with our partnering ministries to develop this, to give a toolkit for the local church to execute local missions and outreach here in our city at very strategic places. Again, our heart is we want to see a Christian witness at every abortion clinic that is in our cities and eventually across the nation and across the world. This is how we're going to tackle this. It's through the local church. It's not through building up a parachurch organization, but equipping the local church to do the work. I believe there's people in your church that, if given the opportunity to serve in this way, will be greatly blessed by this ministry. Yes, it is a difficult ministry a lot of times to serve in, but at the same time, you see some of the most amazing things as you get to see people that are scheduled for death that day that turn and get life. You get to hold a baby in your arms that was scheduled to die at that abortion clinic, but God sent you and He gave you the opportunity to be a part of seeing that life saved and seeing that family be built up and restored. I think the greatest example I can point to is when Jesus was talking about the Good Samaritan, the story of the Good Samaritan. When he was asked, well, who is my neighbor? I find it very interesting that He chose to describe somebody that was beaten and left to die. This was somebody that was in desperate need of someone to show genuine love to that neighbor. And I think for a lot of times, we've been walking by on the other side, just like the Levite and the priest have. We might be preaching a good message on life, but this is a really good opportunity for us to get in the ditch, for us to bandage wounds, to put people on our donkey, so to speak, to connect them to local resources and ongoing care through discipleship. But we must man these gates, and Hope at the Gates is a toolbox to help the local church accomplish this. I hope that your church will take this on as a local outreach in this local mission field that is very, very critical. We're here to help. We're here to help give vision, strategy, and the local tools, or in the tools to do it. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you guys.